I'm Derek, and welcome back to My 2 Cents for the Discount Bin. For those of you who've never seen, this is a show where I go to a video store, peruse the discount bin, find a movie at random, and tell you what I think about it. Now, this show has 3 very simple rules. 1, I can't have seen the movie before. 2, the movie can't cost more than $10. And 3, it can't be a mainstream movie. It has to be either straight to DVD, or if it did come out in theaters, it had to be a very limited run. So I made mention in another episode that I am a huge zombie fan. However, I did point out that the golden years of zombie movies are really 1969 through 1994. That's when the genre was really cult, and you actually had to go out looking in all these weird places to find these movies. This was before the internet, and you had to really trust your video store guy to actually have it in stock. Now, this doesn't mean that I don't think modern zombie movies can be any good. I mean, 28 Days Later is, like, great. It has one of the most beautifully choreographed scenes in cinema I've ever seen. And of course, there's Shaun of the Dead, but that's really a romantic comedy that happens to have zombies. But, you know, it still counts. Well, I was amazed to go to the discount bin today and find Zombie Resurrection. I can tell I'm in for a ride just because of the tagline, "The dead won't stay undead." When you say something like, "the dead won't stay undead," that literally means that they die, they come back to life, and then they just die. They don't go any further than that. But what can I say? I might be a little bit of a grammar Nazi. Oh well, it only cost me $4. So let's put it in and see what we got. What did I just watch? Okay, so first of all, obviously this is a very low rent movie. It's very low budget. But oh my god. First of all, shot terribly. The first scene is like Call of Duty. Literally. It has the green night vision goggle look and a fake looking gun. It looks like a paintball gun. And that's all you see. So what? They go to the normal shot, and it's obvious that all they need to do to see is just remove the day for night, and you'd be perfect. It's like 30 shades of gray filter, 50 shades of gray filter. Then all of a sudden there's zombies, out of nowhere. I think they try to explain the history of the outbreak during the title animation, but it's such generic story that there's not really much to grab hold of the viewer and make them watch. It's just basic. There were no zombies. All of a sudden there are zombies. It's been a little over a year, hasn't been any new outbreaks. All the zombies are sort of raggedy away, and it's a group of survivors going from one survival camp to another survival camp. And there's a leader who's annoying. There's a prisoner who we later find out is actually a doctor. There is a blonde girl who is supposed to be, I think, 15, but the actress is obviously in her 30s, and her some kind of boyfriend who's supposed to be about the same age, but is also much older. The glam girl, the fashionista girl, who even has a freaking rolly suitcase she takes on with her. The blonde girl's father, a overly zealous Christian woman who's pregnant, which made me think, at what point during this zombie apocalypse did she have time to perform such acts in order to be about 6 months pregnant? Just wondering, when does she have time to actually lie back and think of England? Oh, by the way, it's an English movie. There's the rough, hardcore sergeant who's so gung-ho that he just literally rips spinal columns out of zombies. I think that the writing is trying to go for them being funny, but they don't read as funny. They just read as annoying. I really feel like this was a passion project between a couple veteran friends because they really paint the Major as an idiot. So maybe. So the Major gets his leg chopped off, but there's no pain when he does that. It's just he starts screaming out of shock. That's it. And of course they end up in a church because symbolism. It's called zombie resurrection, for God's sakes. There's gotta be a church symbolism. So anyways, they decide to stay in the church until the Major is healed enough so that they can go to where they were going. And they think they hear some survivors. So a group of them decides to go off and they find a room filled with a bunch of zombies just performing a daisy chain around Zombie Jesus. Literally, Zombie Jesus. Seriously, this one zombie is able to touch a zombie, bring that zombie back to life so that the others can feed on him, and then that guy turns back into a zombie. It's a self-solving problem, really. I mean, they just keep eating themselves over and over. No one gets hurt. Oh well. But still, how does that work? Because if it's a virus, a single touch won't cure it. If it's radiation, like it is in the traditional Night of the Living Dead, a touch won't cure it. What's the symbolism here? I don't understand. Well, it ends up with all the characters getting killed off one at a time, and they're so annoying, it's just fun to see them die. Then we learn that it's not a virus. You see, the prisoner, who's also a doctor, actually was the person who created the outbreak. It was a vaccine he gave to a bunch of soldiers in order to be vaccinated against biological warfare in war zones, which, makes sense. And then it just mutated, so it's a flimsy idea for a zombie film, but hey, it actually fits well. So that just gives anti-vaxxers even more fuel for their stupid arguments about why they don't vaccinate their kid. But it still doesn't explain the Jesus touch. Well, they save a resurrected zombie, and she just babbles, and tells them nothing. The leader dies and becomes a zombie. So the doctor has this great idea to kidnap zombie Jesus and make him resurrect the Major so that they actually know where they're going, because he's the only person who knows where the camp is. The blonde girl, who's supposed to be 15 but played by a 30-year-old, ends up shooting him anyway. So it leads nowhere. They just put everybody in danger for no reason, other than to kill off more people. Well, it ends up with basically everybody but the doctor dying, and there's references to the classic Goblin soundtrack of the Italian zombie films of the 80s, which, if you're a diehard zombie fan like I am, you get. And it ends with a scene that's obviously supposed to be paying homage to Lucio Fulci's work. Honestly, I'm on the side of the zombies in this movie. I'm not on the side of the humans. Really, the zombies were just minding their own business, resurrecting themselves and eating themselves and continuing the circle of unlife. And all of a sudden, a bunch of annoying humans show up, start breaking stuff, then start killing everybody, and kidnap their leader. Yeah, I'm all for the zombies. Humans suck. They probably taste good with ketchup, too. I don't know, I'm not a cannibal. The writing is very sophomore. Oh yeah, it's written, produced, and directed by the same two people. Writers, every now and again, you have to be able to let go of your work, okay? Just because you have an idea for a movie does not mean it's going to pan out. I'm sorry, that's just how it works. It's shot through gray filters. Everything's gray and everything's shaky. So, yeah, they're obviously paying homage to the genre itself, especially. There's a lot of it that deals with the Italian zombie films of the 80s, but the problem is that they like the movies, but they don't understand why they were good to begin with. They switch their mythos halfway through just because they know, oh, there's always a twist in a zombie movie from Italy, so let's do that. But that's not how it works with Italian zombie films. The acting is really subpar. It's not really acting, it's just a bunch of people talking. The effects were pretty good for what I consider the budget. I'm going to guess that this had a budget of like £5,000. Yeah. Directing needs work. it made no sense. If you're going to have a zombie Jesus, that's fine. Just sort of work it into the mythology that you're trying to create. Just don't throw it in there as an aside, because with the mythology that you created, that it's a vaccine that mutated into a virus that spread all over the world, it doesn't work with a zombie Jesus. It goes as easy as that. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Zombie Resurrection. So all in all, it wasn't a good movie. It sort of dragged out. It's only 80 minutes long, but it felt much longer. And it was hard to keep my attention on this because I've seen everything that they did, but I've seen it better. So I would recommend just seeing it once. It only cost me $4. So if you see it for like less than $5, buy it, watch it, then donate it to charity. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for tuning in, and come back next week to see what the discount bin has in store.